my first job as a waiter, then as a barista, then as a bartender, then as a toilet cleaner. So that got me a lot of exciting insights, because now you're sitting and when you're working in retail, you're talking to a lot of people. I was just 17. I was just youngest in the class. This was just after my 12th. बोलते हम बहुत है कि ये खराब है, वो खराब है. बहुत कुछ बर्बादी के बारे में बोलते हैं. इंडिया में ये इशू है, वो इशू है. पर हमने क्या किया है? That Swadesh movement came in me. I felt that going outside India and doing a lot of value addition there, why not come back and do something for the nation? I get my first 20, 30 rejection and that's all. No, we have to get at least 500, 600,000 rejections until you get to a point where people... And even with each rejection, you try to understand why they have rejected. You try to ask them and course correct as well.
Hello everyone, we are back here on Copperpod and we are with a very interesting personality today. So, in Rubaru with Rupali, we are going to speak with Pankaj Raut. He is the CEO and co-founder of AjnaLens, the very famous AR/VR technology in artificial intelligence, and we are going to see and explore that how this technology is going to benefit the architects and aspiring architecture profession of today. I must say over here that you have to understand how Pankaj has thought, and his team, he is a partner in AjnaLens, and he and his team has tried to think for a better cause, for a larger good, for their expertise which is going to benefit the society at large. And through his words and through his words of wisdom is what I would like to say, you will find many ways and many paths that you can pursue in this profession. Let's meet him. Here we are with Pankaj Raut. I have been speaking in volumes about this personality because what he has done today is something which each one of you should be aware of. We welcome him here on this podcast in Rubaru with Rupali, and we are here to know his journey and to understand how he began with a small hope and how he has reached to this heights today. So welcome,
Namaskaram.
Pankaj. Namaskaram, of course, Namaskaram. Pankaj, as you see him, this young dynamic person over here, we are extremely interested to know how you began this journey, because looking at AjnaLens today, I'm seeing your marketing department, and we are also visiting your tech department, and it is such a proud moment to see you here today. Can you please tell us how you began your journey?
For that, I have to go quite a bit back, but I'll try to start where it actually started with. So I'm from a very small town called Sangli, born, brought up there. Coming from a place like this, you see struggle firsthand, yourself and your friends, others, everyone. I saw that there are so many grassroots challenges within India, and I was able to experience it firsthand, talk to more people, understand. That created a sense in me that I need to do something for this. We need to figure out a solution and help reduce suffering as much as possible, right? Help create a better world. So that small fire somewhere started back then. Since childhood, I was very passionate about tech. So I used to watch Bond movies and I used to go so crazy. I used to try to break open my toys and try to create something of that. So that's when I knew that technology was something that I was passionate about.
This is very important because you know how our passion develops through these small day-to-day things that we love doing is the baseline. Yes, please go on.
So my parents knew that he would essentially go into technology. So after my 11th, 12th, I wanted to study everything. Everything means I wanted to study mechanical, electronics, robotics, machining, each and everything. And when there were options for in college to choose any one of them.
Yeah.
So that was a big challenge.
Very well said again, because this is something which the younger generation today faces, that if I know so many things, can I get anything compiled anywhere, Yeah.
And back then, this is 2008, around somewhere 8, 10 time phase. And there was nothing like this. So back then we had internet cafes. We never had computers or mobile phones. So I used to visit an internet cafe, and there was some search engine, I can't recall, but I looked up mechanical plus electronics plus robotics, and I found a word called mechatronics.
Oh.
It was so fascinating. I wrote it on my hand, mechatronics. Right? I went running back to my home and I told my dad, Dad, I want to do this. It's a course wherein you get to learn everything. But fortunately or unfortunately, it was not taught within India. So I saw some universities in UK doing that. And coming from a small OK-to-do family, going outside India and studying there was nothing that's something you dream about or talk about, or it's
Absolutely.
not a part of your conversation as well.
Exactly. So minute we come to know it is out of India, we just lose the
Correct,
hopes, and we
exactly.
divert ourselves somewhere else.
Yeah. So that's when I decided I want to pursue this. So I think number one thing that I had was persistence. So what I did was I started taking photos of whatever toys that I had broken down, whatever tech that I had created. And in my absolutely broken English, I started writing letters. So every day I used to go to these cafes and I used to write emails to the admissions that I want to do this, I want to do this, I have done this in the past, and this is my project work.
My God, that was such an honest confession. I think I would like to tell students here that many times when you are approaching higher education institutes, you try to look at a very good English, very good letter, what you call SOP or something. But it is something which should come from your heart. It is not something which somebody else should prepare for you or some agency who is doing it for you. It should be something which you love, and that is where the passion is seen, I suppose. I think this is such a fantastic discussion you have done, Pankaj, about showing the broken toys and my broken English, because English becomes such a barrier otherwise.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
So that's when, fortunately, I got a partial scholarship from a couple of universities where they gave me an interest because of the work that I had done in the past. And I have been dropping so many emails to them. That's when I came back home. I showed my dad, and he was also a bit surprised. My family was also a bit surprised and they were happy as well that I got partial scholarship. For the remaining part, I convinced him to get a loan and for me to travel down to UK and study there. So this I was just 17. I was just youngest in the class. This was just after my 12th.
Yeah, of course. So this was a course in
Mechatronics. Yes.
And for how long was this course?
So this is 3 years.
Undergraduate
course.
And where in UK?
So this was in London South Bank University. Although a part of my tuition fee was taken care of by the scholarship, part was through loan. But my day-to-day living was a big challenge. How do you manage that? So that's when I started doing my first job as a waiter, then as a barista, then as a bartender, then as a toilet cleaner. So that got me a lot of exciting insights, because now you're sitting and when you're working in retail, you're talking to a lot of people. Now imagine me coming from a small town within Sangli with limited structures, limited understanding, people who are very similar, to going to London, which is a multicultural space, right? People from different countries, different mindsets, different perspectives. It gave me a lot of cultural shocks.
Of course, I can imagine. I mean, Mumbai gives a cultural shock to people like, those who are coming from interior spaces. And either to it must have been ekdam...
Correct. And that too at the age of 17, you're not even exposed to the world itself. And that created one more interest in me, that was about human consciousness. Like multiple times people have different perspectives on the same thing, and everyone is right in their own subjective realities as well. So I studied there. After 3 years, I started working for a company there. While working for the company, I did set up one of Europe's and Asia's best 3D scanning system. The company was very happy with it. The company grew rapidly because of that and went from a small team to a large 200 people team as well.
So you designed your own...
Yes, for the company I was working for.
Wow.
So this system is like a rig of 360, around 36 DSLR cameras which are set around you. You walk in and your digital twin is created, and this is 2010-12 era. So this was used by games, films, movies, wherein you want to create digital twins of real humans and use them digitally.
And you were 21?
I think yes, 21, 22 years, just 3 years, yes.
Wow, lovely. Yeah. Then
Then that Swadesh movement came in me. I felt that going outside India and doing a lot of value addition there, why not come back and do something for the nation?
amazing. So you were how long with this company in UK?
About a year or so.
About a
Ji,
year.
ji.
And in that 1 year, you gave them this sort of
Kind
boost.
of.
Wow. Okay.
So that's when I decided, okay, I want to come back to India, do something for the nation at grassroots level. So although I had a good job then because of the things that I had done, I decided to come back. Met the other two co-founders, Abhijit Patil and Abhishek Tomar, at an event inside IIT Bombay. One thing that three of us, although coming from tech backgrounds, we were consistently talking about is a lot of grassroots level challenges in India. Please pardon my rawness, but बोलते हम बहुत है कि ये खराब है वो खराब है, बहुत कुछ बर्बादी के बारे में बोलते हैं, इंडिया में ये इशू है वो इशू है, पर हमने क्या किया है? And we felt that if there are potholes, if there are people spitting, if there are unemployment, if there are robberies happening, it is my responsibility. So each individual had this unique perspective that it is not government's, it is no one else's responsibility, it is my responsibility, because in the past I have not done anything. That's why this situation is there. That's why we decided we take this responsibility and start working for the nation. So although we are coming from tech, it was this which we were talking about. And because all three of us were sitting on this on a continuous basis, it started booming and started building up.
I think I must tell everyone over here that the change happens when there is this silver line of doing something for the society, of that urge where you are hurt somewhere, where you are so concerned about the people. And it is not necessary that you need very big steps to start with. There is a small thought that you should bring in and continue.
Yeah, because back then we had nothing really. I had left my job. Abhijit was just finishing his IIT. Abhishek also was leaving his job. So to tell you, for the first 2-3 years, we did not even take salaries, right? We were just working on asking our parents or savings or this or that. But we had that drive that we want to do something. What we want to do, we were not sure back then. We wanted to have impact. How do we want to have impact was something that we were discussing. For a couple of months we discussed. That is wherein we started to understand the key challenge is not lack of job opportunities. It is lack of skill set.
Okay.
That's why, because of lack of skill set, a lot of people are unemployed. Because people are unemployed, the anti-societal elements increase. To give you an example, अगर मेरे पेट में भूख है और माँ बीमार है, तो morality is not my concern. Solving that is my concern. He is subjectively right at his position because he wants to solve that. That is which it might lead him to robbery, which might lead him to tons of other things. In India, because we are so strong in our population and so weak in unemployment or employment,
Getting employment,
that becomes a big challenge. And we recognize if we solve this on a fundamental level, if we help people get jobs, we might be able to have a positive impact on society. The more people are working, the more they are involved, the more they are earning a livelihood, the more they will contribute to themselves, their families, and the less they will tend towards antisocial activities. And that's where we decided this is something that we want to
do. Wow. Wonderful. I think at that young age, thinking of this, I mean, tasting the experience in UK and coming back with this thought, that is the reason you are here today, Pankaj, because and you are trying to prove that it is not necessary that you need to have a capital and a very advanced status for someone to start with this thought. It is just your education, your skill and intelligence that you try to bring in and mold to make a better society.
Correct, absolutely. And even like initially when we were even trying to do fundraise, it was a challenge because we are talking about this.
Yeah.
And how do you talk to an investor and say that you want to solve
Yeah.
this and you want to do this? What is your monetization? How will it work? All of that. So over a period of time, we understood how do we create a business model, and we had no idea. We knew that we wanted to create impact. What's the business model around it? How do we structure things around it is something that we started to learn over a period of time. And we were just persistent. I think one thing which I think has been consistent is always going behind it, and the ability to course correct, the ability to change and evolve. Sometimes you might think something is right, but it might not be right. As long as the end goal is one, but then you should be able to course correct. You should
Very
not be
well
very rigid in, okay, this is my way and this is how it should work, and this is how the investors should fund. If it's not working, you have to change.
Exactly. Because the goal, as you rightly said, the ultimate goal is what you have to find. You can find different ways to achieve it.
Correct.
So you shouldn't feel disheartened to if you need to stop where you are going ahead, come back again, rethink, consciously and move again.
Yes, we did that multiple times as well. Like we progressed through, then we had to stop some of the activities that we are doing. We had to come back and rethink, recalibrate and restart as well. It is a part and parcel of the journey.
Great. So let us now understand how AjnaLens came up.
So this is when three co-founders met. We started talking about impact. To solve this issue of unemployment, we decided we need to train more people, get them the right skills. Currently, you learn skills by either reading something, by watching videos or practicing. All of this was not enough. In terms of the practice was also limited, whether it be ITS, schools or colleges, wherever you go. What if we are able to provide them something they wear? They're digitally teleported into that environment and they're practicing it by actually doing it.
Oh, so the reason for starting this was to teach them the skill.
Correct.
Better method of teaching a skill through practical experience.
Yes.
And as not you can reach everyone or, bring them here or take them to the place where you want to teach, to give them a practical experience. This was a medium which you thought of that can be offered.
Yes. So many people look at us and they say, you manufacture AR, VR headset. That's just a tool or a medium. That's not the end goal.
Exactly.
So that's when back then, when this was 2014, AR and VR were not commonly used terms as well.
Yes, of course.
Correct. So we were going and talking to investors, okay, they are making this holographic computers you wear, you're digitally teleported and you can practice. And we had a broken prototype with a phone and something connected, some lenses, and it's something we were trying to do.
Oh my God, yeah.
So initially for a couple of years, we faced challenges. We faced a lot of rejections, but we were sure that we'll slowly progress. Fortunately, we got the right investors after a lot of snows. And that I want to clearly indicate because it's not easy. Everyone thinks that I get my first 20, 30 rejection and that's all. No, we have to get at least 500, 600,000 rejections until you get to a point where people... And even with each rejection, you try to understand why they have rejected. You try to ask them and course correct as well.
Exactly.
With a pinch of salt, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Course correct is the right thing and that needs the courage. To really say that, no, okay, we have to start again. We have to course correct ourselves.
Correct.
Amazing. I mean, I can see the passion in you to reach the goal. I mean, otherwise it was not possible, Pankaj. I mean, anybody could have left it at that way and said that वापस job को लग जाते हैं, मिल रहा था regular.
Even there is familiar pressure as well.
Obviously.
Now they have taken up a loan, sent you to go to UK, study there. Then there are relatives who will be saying that he's come back, he's not doing anything, he's not taking salaries, he should work, he should do that. But you have to then just take it through one year and let it go.
Yeah. And somewhere that family needs, I mean, the support of the family to you somewhere, where you are a rebel somewhere, you then try to put your foot down. I mean, these are small nuances in each and every youngster's life, but they are so strong to change them or divert them from their, thought process.
One thing I would like to highlight as well is many students, young people come up to me, they say, I want to start my own company. I ask them, fundamentally question yourself, why do you want to start? Many a times I get answer, I don't want to work for someone. I want to work according to my times. I think these are absolutely the worst reasons to start your own company. If you're starting a company, you're working for your investors, your shareholders, your employees, even the new interns you're joining, because you're responsible for each and every person. So instead of having one boss at a work, you are now having hundreds of boss who you are responsible for.
Exactly.
So it's not you're choosing a better life. Second, usually many of the students ask is, I want to work at my own time and I want in my own way wherever. You are instead of working 8 hours, you are working 12 to 14 hours a day.
Absolutely.
You have to provide that of kind of a commitment on a daily, weekly, on a weekend basis as well.
There are no
for
vacation.
you to achieve something, right? So these two are absolutely bad ideas to start a startup. One, it could be you are passionate about something and you want to explore and build something. Yes, very good. In that, you just have to make sure that your business sense is strong, or you build your business strong, very, very strong, right? And second is impact related. What I usually recommend students is to understand what their inclinations are. Do they want to build a very big company, or are they happy to have a small business, which is a lifestyle business? The ways you go about it are completely different. Going for a company which is very, very large, although it's aspirational, but requires a lot of time, energy, effort of your life, commitments of many years, 10, 12, 15, 20 years of you to build that up, right? While on the other hand, there are lifestyle businesses. It could be a salon, it could be something else. They're lifestyle. They help you build a lifestyle while also have a business. So you have to be very sure which way you want to go as well.
Exactly. Very well put up. Yeah, because the thought process of startup is coming up like, fire. And people just look at different examples and feel कि चलो हम कर सकते हैं. But the thought process behind it and your persistence and your final goal, why you want to do it, all these questions should be sorted at the base level initially. I think that will just give you all a clearer idea as to really where I should go and pursue.
Correct. And when you start your startup or a company or a business for that matter, what is the problem statement that you're solving, right? We usually internally discuss, you either have a painkiller or a vitamin or a candy. What is the difference? For a candy, it is a nice to have for your end customers. You require a lot of marketing, a lot of sales, a lot of pushing through to sell that candy. And it is easy product, multiple other companies would be able to do that. Vitamin, the client might know that this is nice to have vitamin, I need to take vitamin tablets, but still there is a lot of sales, there is a lot of marketing, and there is a bit of pushing in the market is required. But if you have a painkiller and a customer has a burning pain, it is the easiest. So always try to figure out what is my customer's burning problem and create a painkiller for that. Unless you are in a painkiller business, the growth of the company is very restricted. The kind of efforts that you are going to put in will be different as well. Although there are candies that have been sold as well, but it requires a lot of your time, energy, effort, commitments. Painkillers is the best place to start. At least your first product has to be a painkiller on which you can build a cash flow, on which then you can start building vitamins and...
Yes, exactly. My God, these are golden words, guys. From a person who has experienced all, come to this level, and we are so glad he's sharing it with you all, because these are certain words which, is going to benefit each and every one. It is like a Bible or a Gita which says कि हाँ ये है, ये करो तो तुम्हें मंजिल मिल जाएगी. And you have gone through so much of hardships to come and say these words. Really appreciate your... this shows your passion of helping the society. Pankaj, you're not holding back to even say anything that you have experienced and get it to students. Not that, oh, chalo, ab mere yahan pe aayenge to hum batayenge. Not necessary. Amazing. It is very few and rare people over here who think of the masses and the society at large?
Yeah, I was just before our podcast, I was thinking about it and I was like, what is that advice I would give to myself? Or that video that I would see that would inspire me or give me the right direction and let me do that in that way. So
Amazing.
that's
Lovely,
it.
lovely, fantastic.
Yeah.
Pankaj, let us understand about AjnaLens now.
Yeah.
So, what is your organization doing?
Perfect. So to create this grassroots level impact, we work on multiple layers. One, we have the hardware, which is a augmented and a virtual reality, mixed reality kind of a device, which can do both AR and VR. Then we have a platform called Ajna Vidya. It's a platform on which you can come and learn any skills.
Okay.
Besides this, there's a neuroscience bit of it which we do, wherein the content on the platform is created with understanding the neuroscience. How do you create memories stronger in your prefrontal cortex? What is the neuroscience behind it? Basis that neuroscience, how do you create a pedagogy? How it should be taught so that your retention becomes better. Because what we have seen over this last couple of years is the attention span, whether it be young kids or adults like ourselves, the attention span has drastically been reduced because now we are exposed to a lot of reels. What reels does is it rewires our brains for shorter dopamine hits. The next reel you go, you get a dopamine hit. If you don't get a dopamine hit, you skip to the next reel until you get that dopamine hit. Human brain is created in the direction to get dopamine hits and it will aggressively look for it through reels. The more and more you're exposed to this quick dopamine hits, your exposure of long-term attention drastically reduces. Your attention span drastically reduces. Although it was said somewhere, I read it, that it's less than a goldfish, I think it will be becoming even smaller than that. So how do you use technology like ourselves, not just to train individuals for specific skills, but help them build these fundamental things back again? How do you, someone who wears my headset, goes through some of my content, is not just learning the content, but his attention span is also increasing. So we want to work on multiple levels, not just the skills, but as a human, how do you help him become a better human?
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. My goodness. When you are speaking, we understand the layers to it, and as you rightly said earlier, that it is not just that instrument that we are making that goes to a different level of...
Correct.
Wow. So now how you are looking at your customers, or what is it that the projects that you are handling?
So primarily we started working with defense, because if you see, and we'll share some photos of our devices, the earlier devices were very big, couple of kgs, multiple wires connected to you, big computer which was connected. It was very, it could be only used in defense. It was not very user friendly. Within enterprise or even B2C, it was not something that could be used. So we started focusing on defense first. And what is that we can do at defense on a grassroots level to do that? So we work with the Indian Army, Navy, DRDO, where we have done large scale deployments. Then slowly as the device and the form factor reduces, we started working with ITIs, so Industrial Training Institutes. Within India, there are 15,000 odd ITIs where people come from tough financial backgrounds to come and learn skills. These skills are vocational skills: spray painting, welding, plumbing, fitter, this, that, everything. But the challenges within ITIs is many of these ITIs, more than 90-95% of ITIs, lack the required infrastructure. Either it is not there, or if it is there, it is less. If there are 30-40 students who are learning welding, there are probably 4 or 5 welding guns, not enough consumables that are required. So what would happen is essentially students would not build the right skill set that is required. So after their year or so in this ITS, they are still lacking the skills, so they do not get the jobs. And now their mindset is, I've spent a year learning and I'm still not getting a job. Then what is the problem? There are not enough jobs, or there are some other issues that's happening. So at this ITS, we started setting up something called Ajna XR station. This station, someone wears the headset, they are given physical spray painting gun, welding gun, on which right from picking up the gun or the tool or the torch, how do you move it? At how much distance do you keep? What is the hand movement? So helping you build the right hand dexterities we can do. In this case, because the paint which is sprayed is virtual, or if it is welded, it's virtual gases and virtual weld that's been built up. There are no consumables required. The ability for a person to practice multiple times also drastically increases. His training is at accuracy level. As a teacher, if you think about it, there are 40 students. You can't really pay one-on-one attention to even hand accuracy. But here we can do that. We do millimeter level tracking of each individual's hand-eye coordination. So we slowly train him so that he are able to build skill. What we have been able to achieve is learning time. Traditionally, it would take about 8 to 10 months for someone to become an expert in spray painting welding. We have been able to drastically reduce it down to 3 to 4 months with the same level of expertise. So we just don't stop there until the training is done. We have something called a leaderboard onto our platform, wherein these individuals are listed. So for companies who are looking to hire, whether it be L&T, Godrej, Mahindra, who wants to hire, let's say who is the best welder in Pune, they get access to that. So we help do the last mile placement as well. Because our end goal is that. Our end, it is not teaching. Teaching for what? Even for someone to get placed. So we build the entire ecosystem there.
So there is a hand-holding throughout till the person reaches the right place. Wonderful, wonderful. I remember Pankaj coming to my college and, telling the architecture students about this. I would like you to discuss the benefits that architecture students can achieve through this medium.
There are huge benefits. I'll tell you why. Because if you look at architecture, it's completely in 3D space. The end user who will be using or experiencing the creation that you have done is also be in the 3D space. But so far our designing tools and our visualization tools have always been in a 2D space on a computer screen, whether it be a tablet or a phone or a computer screen that you're using. So when we are creating something 3D in a 2D space, there's a lot of constraint that happens. If you look at AR and VR, essentially they are the next form of computing. I'll give you a background. So you had mainframes, then you had desktops, then you had laptops, then you have mobile phone where you are doing computing. Going forward, there will be this wearable glasses on which you could digitally bring in 3D content. What has happened is the computers for the first time are going from a caterpillar stage to a butterfly stage, wherein they were so far stuck to a 2D screen, and now they are going to the 3D world. So the opportunities for specifically professions like architectures are huge. First, you are able to visualize your designs much better. The second you design, whether you design it in the 2D world or a 3D world, you are able to understand that. Not just understand the aspects in terms of the structure and everything, but aspects in terms of if it is a daylight, if it is a night light, how will the sun rays move. Things that would not traditionally be able to do and experience, you are able to do that. The more you are able to design and visualize in 3D space, the better your own feedback mechanism becomes, the more better you are able to design.
Yes, indeed.
The more better you are able to design, the more beautiful the world will be. That is number one.
Yes.
So I think number one, in your learning, first it helps you become a better architect. Because you are able to visualize and design.
And this can be implemented during their 5 years course of education at the undergraduate level.
Correct. And that is when we work with colleges to help students. So we started at ITS, now we are going above. Even at this, we also specifically chose architecture or 3D related fields because that's where the immediate ROI is. While learning itself, the students are able to visualize, learn, become better. Not just that, but let's say once a student goes through the course and learns it, he is looking for a job. For that job, imagine you taking a headset and whoever is interviewing you, ask them to wear the headset and you help them visualize the 3D worlds that you have created. And within the 3D world, you are also teleported, both of you are wearing headset and you're talking to them, why did you make some specific design choices as compared to else?
Fantastic.
The opportunity for you to get a job is much higher as compared to someone else.
Right.
And we had them teach that as well. How do you do that well? How do you present your ideas well? How do you do that? So while learning, you become better architects by able to visualize and redesign things through. Because many times, even if it's on a 2D screen, you are still not able to visualize it and not able to improve it.
Right.
But in 3D world, you are able to do. Second is get placed as well. After placement, once he started his professional journey, he wants to convert more clients, attract more clients. One, it becomes a marketing tool wherein you are able to showcase to your potential customers what past work that you have done. Second is what would their potential house or whatever they are trying to build look like. So it helps you increase that conversion as well. Instead of showing it on a phone or a tablet, wherein you as an architect at least still have a 3D sense because you have studied that. But for layman
for a
customers,
layman,
it's
definitely,
nothing.
it is very
This
difficult.
becomes a better tool for you for sales, marketing as well. Help you convert more.
And to move from 2D to 3D through this instrument of yours, what do they require as a basic information that needs to be fed in?
Correct.
So it is
essentially
regular
they are
plans.
correct. Regular plans, essentially they are still using current 3D tools, whether it be SketchUp or something else that they are using. It is just importing that into Unreal application and visualizing it on the device. We are now also doing plugins, so you don't even have to come out of your own architectural applications. Within those applications also, you could stream it to the device and experience it.
So if any student wants to take this added or learn about this,
Correct.
what is the time span that you feel that we should invest?
While they are actually studying, about 6 to 12 months while their study is doing. So every weekly basis, during their
weekly
education,
basis,
correct,
once,
weekly
twice.
basis, couple of times they are going online learning. We also have something called Ajna Creator Program on which they could come and learn. So commitment of about 6 to 12 months for them to understand and become better. And it is not like they are studying something new. They are doing their own thing, same thing, but they are able to now visualize it on a 3D software.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Great. Pankaj, what do you want to see ahead of here? From now that you're trying to reach your goals, you're trying to meet them, you have met quite a few of them. How do you see your future ahead?
Ideally, the future will be where we are creating more and more impact and breaking some paradigms. Breaking paradigms in terms of what a company is. To give an example, in our company, we don't have HR, human resources. We don't believe humans are resources. We have HP, human possibilities, human potential. So every individual is potential. So our outlook towards even human beings is different within the organization. We do not have a HR department, we have a HP department.
Wonderful.
That is why the way you interact with them will also be drastically different.
Yes.
You will not treat them as a resource, but you will treat them as a beautiful possibility. How do you build the right nurturing?
Exactly. I think this is one thing where we initially connected when I met you, Pankaj, because somewhere this journey of podcast trying to build in and show the students their own capacities rather than running after somebody else's achievement. First, you see what you have, try to be aware and consciously aware of it, and you have potentials opened in the market for you.
Very true.
But when I came and I met you, and when I spoke to the people about your office and the way you tried to build it up, it was exactly the same. You were trying to look at an individual, not who is going to come and work in your office, but you were seeing them as the person has this capacity. Let us see how we grow together.
Correct.
So along
possibility,
with
yes.
a possibility.
They require the right soil, the right fertilizer, the right sunlight and right watering. Everyone has the ability to flourish. It's just it is your responsibility, not their responsibility. It is your responsibility to provide them the right opportunity, the right environment.
Exactly. And I was so impressed, really. I'm telling you, because it is, as I said, very rare organizations who look at the growth together, wherein the individual employer also is growing, and they are trying to find out their best things. In this multidisciplinary field of our architecture, it is the same. There are so many opportunities and careers available, and somewhere the student has to find what is the best that he or she pursues and wants to go ahead, and they will find a way. So when your broken toys were your conscious efforts, they have certain things. Many of them have not realized it.
Correct.
And I'm sure your experiences now will say that ओ जो वो कर रहे थे वो तो हॉबी था, ऐसा नहीं होता.
Definitely.
समथिंग विच तुम जो कर रहे हो, जो तुम्हें पसंद है करना, वो ही आगे चल के कैन बी योर करियर.
Correct.
एंड आर्किटेक्चर गिव्स दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी,
Very
यू नो,
true.
for
Very true.
all.
And naturally, each one of us have some or the other inclinations, and I think we should more bend towards our own inclinations and see if there is a potential opportunity. Like someone who was taking care of our marketing was coming from a different background, not from a marketing background, right? So having people, you could even change your entire careers or your fields because of some of the inclination, and you'll probably do better in something new that you've done.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. So, guys, we have seen this journey of this dynamic CEO of AjnaLens, also the co-founder of AjnaLens, a Sangli kid who came up with a passion, fought his way through, never left his persistence, and saw to it that the goal was achieved. The goal was not his alone, but it was a goal which he was looking for the masses, and he's continuing with that. I think hats off to the team that you have built. Hats off to your partners who are there with you in this, because I suppose that is a very, to get the people.
Okay.
Also, I also realize over here that एक चाह होती है, हम जब उस रास्ते पे निकल पड़ते हैं तो सेम वेवलेंथ के, और you eventually meet people who are your strong support and strength during the journey.
Correct.
So जैसे बोलते हैं, the jigsaw puzzle falls in place and you suddenly find a
Very true,
way.
and I absolutely can say that's right. Initially, it's all empty, barren, and the more and more you consistently keep doing, the right jigsaw puzzles come and sit in at the right places.
Exactly. Wonderful, Pankaj. I'm so glad you were here. You gave your time. I know you are extremely, extremely busy, but you are aware that you have to, as you rightly said, I thought what I should speak to the students. This intention is, we are blessed to get from you, and may you prosper and take all these youngsters and the others who are looking for something to achieve in their journey. May you be a role model for them and handhold them together, right? We are looking at your office. We are looking at the places that you have built in your other thing also, and I'm sure it will show that but you need one really persistent belief in you and the passion that you feel that we can move ahead. So thank you very much again for being here.
Thank you for hosting me. It was a pleasure to have this conversation.
Absolutely. Namaskaram.